Hi, my name is Jan. Welcome to Butterfly Tracks. Gosh, it seems like I start all over again every year. It's like a whole new beginning. That's a good thing. I'd like to talk to you about the places that I've stayed so far on my road trip and some places that I hope to stay along the way on my trip to Maine. At the end of this video, I'm going to list all the places that I think I'm going to stay, places that I have stayed, and how to find some of them, and when you get there, how to determine if you really want to stay there for the night. I have felt safe and comfortable at Cracker Barrels for a long time, way back when I first started. In fact, this is a picture of one in Arizona from last year's trip. Here's another reason why I love Cracker Barrel. Look at this. This looks like a fairly nice campground. You can have beautiful sunsets right from a Cracker Barrel. In fact, this is the one in Gainesville. This was our sunset there. In fact, I'm at a Cracker Barrel right now. Lee's with me. I'm going to have to introduce you to Lee.
Hello.
I'm going to put a link below to Lee's van tour. We did that quite a while back. It was one of my first meetups that I had. Lee and I are caravanning. She'll be with me for a lot of this trip. She has a family wedding to go to a little bit later this year. And it's really nice. Caravanning is great. It's wonderful to have somebody to talk to. You feel safer when you park at night. The best thing to do rather than following and trying to keep up with each other, though, is, of course, getting your coordinates together, and texting back and forth with your GPS. I use Google Maps all the time, so I text Lee a link. Such an easygoing, nice person, a great person to travel with. Unlike last year, this trip I'm taking a lot of back roads. Beautiful, beautiful back roads. I have certain truck stops that I like to stay at, but they're pretty hard to find on back roads. Pretty much impossible to find on back roads. Cracker Barrels and truck stops, my favorite places last year. Not going to be able to do that so much this time. Here's how our trip has been so far. We went from Gainesville to Jacksonville, Cracker Barreled. Then we went to Savannah. In Savannah, we were there for 2 nights at a Cracker Barrel. We did the tour. That was fun. Coco really enjoyed it too. Well, it happened all over again. Got emotional when I first saw mountains. I don't know what it is with mountains. It's just when you don't get to see them when you're in Florida, then they become even more special. This is a perfect time of year to be in the mountains. There are flowers. Everything is so green. The first place we stayed, other than a Cracker Barrel, was a friend's farm. Sure was beautiful in that area in the mountains of Georgia. We weren't near any free places I could find, but we did find a national forest. And national forests often have campgrounds. Sometimes it's just dispersed camping and it's free. But this time it was at Lake Sinclair recreation area. It was a Lake Sinclair campground. There were 5 with electric, and then there were tent sites. So it was first come, first serve. So you're taking a chance when you go to one of those. We were lucky, and there was an excellent site there for us. It was plenty big for 2 vehicles. We were both on one. We shared a campsite. It was on your honor. When you drive in, you get an envelope and fill it out and put the money inside and slip it back in there instead of making reservations online. Lake Sinclair was $15 a night. That was pretty good. We split the cost, $7.50 each, and we had electric. Now, some of the sites that I've looked into for National Forest campsites might be as much as $20, but if you have an America the Beautiful pass, that's the National Parks pass, and if you're a senior, you can get one. Well, I paid $80, and that's lifetime. It gets you into national parks for free, and you can camp for half price. So if the campsite is $20, you just pay $10. And since we're caravanning together, that's $5 a piece. That's pretty good. One of our best stops was Tallulah Falls. Now, you remember last year how I used to be so afraid of heights? Well, as I have also said, I think some of that was because I was dehydrated and I was not used to the altitude. But look at me. I walked out on, this is Lee walking out there on this lookout there at Tallulah Gorge to see the waterfall. And I walked out there, great big rocks, uneven ground. I didn't even have my walking sticks with me then. And it was a beautiful view. This is me right out on the edge. Well, it was really solid. So I didn't have quite as much fear. I guess I'm getting over it. Oh gosh, 72 and you can still improve. Hey, good deal. It was a long walk down there. It was over a mile for sure. And I think I could call my walking sticks hiking poles that day. I'm getting better. Of course, there were places to stop and sit along the way. And back up, something I couldn't even have considered doing a couple of years ago. I want you to see these beautiful roads. So green you could almost taste it. Another campsite we had was at the Standing Indian Campground in the National Forest in North Carolina. We didn't have to, but we did get a double site. It was $40, except that we have the National Parks Pass, the America the Beautiful Pass, which means that we got it for $20, so $10 a piece. That's pretty good. And probably the best thing about this, it was a beautiful place, no cell service at all. But this beautiful stream ran right along beside our campsite. I took an early morning walk along the stream. What a great way to spend the morning. The water was so clear, the reflection, the light coming through. This was a cabin that we had in North Carolina, 1,000 Trails cabin pass that I paid for last year. Just this 1 week alone would have cost much more than I paid for the cabin pass. Just this 1 week alone. And I've got it for a whole year. So number one, because I use it the most often, is Cracker Barrel. What I don't like as much about it as far as overnight is that they're not open 24 hours. Number two would be Flying J. Not just any Flying J. Flying J, particularly when they have a 24-hour restaurant such as a Denny's, or I think I saw one with a Huddles out west. But anyway, with a 24-hour restaurant, because that restaurant will have a separate entrance. You don't have to go past the registers in front for the truck stop. You go in a separate entrance, and it's like a little private lobby you go through, and the bathrooms are right there. So you don't have to, every time you walk in overnight, they won't be saying, "Welcome to Love's, welcome to Flying J." Now, when I'm looking for a truck stop or travel center, as they sometimes prefer to be called these days, I want to find it on Google Maps and then look at the satellite view and zoom in to see that it does have a large parking lot, because at least out west, I drove past some truck stops, Flying J and Love's, and they really weren't hardly any bigger than a corner gas station, and you certainly would not want to stay there. I like the bigger the parking lot, the better for me. Walmart, only stayed 2 nights at a Walmart in a year and a half. Only 2 nights at Walmart's. And I would only stay at a Walmart if I look it up on iOverlander and or The Dirt or Campendium or one of the other apps for free stays, and I would look at the reviews before I would stay at a Walmart. And even after the reviews, I would make sure there were other campers there so that I would feel safe. National Forest campgrounds are moving up on my list. I really should have put that above Walmart. There are a lot of Walmarts all over. That's the only reason that's pretty far up on the list. National Forest campgrounds are very inexpensive. And if you have that National Parks Pass, you get it for half price. And of course, a lot of national forests even have Forest Service roads or dispersed camping for free. Yes, I've done stealth camping in hotels before. Not very often. I don't want to see an empty parking lot. I want to see some other cars there, so you blend in. I try to find a place maybe around to the side where there aren't as many windows, and definitely finding a spot that does not have employees coming and going all the time. You should make sure that there are not any tags on the, like on the mirror where it says that you're a hotel guest, or on the dashboard. If everybody has one of those, don't do it. Hospital visitor parking. I would say make sure you're in the visitor area. Make sure that there are plenty of parking places. Make sure that there are places for people who need to stay overnight with a loved one. So you're looking for a happy medium there. You don't want to be the only car in the parking lot. You want to blend in, but you don't want to take the last parking spot either. Fairgrounds. I've only done that once, and it wasn't very expensive, but it was like a campground at the fairground. There were hookups and everybody had their own little spot. That's, you know, it could vary with different fairgrounds all over. There could be convention centers and arenas and so forth that might have places that other RVers are at, other campers. Sporting goods stores. I did do that a couple of times. It was at a Bass Pro Shop. I did Cabela's one time. Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro Shop, and Cabela's are all good for that. I would ask first, because they may have security at night, and if they have your tag, if you've let them know, if they want to get your tag, then whoever is their security will know that you're supposed to be there, that you're not there for nefarious reasons. I'm in the East now, so there are not going to be a lot of casinos. But when I was out West, casinos were a favorite also, because, boy, what great security they have at a casino. All that money in there. And they often have guards that are walking around the parking area, and that is a good place to ask first, because they want to know who's there. I think you're usually welcome at most of them, but it's kind of nice to ask so you don't get the knock, and they know why you're there. Home Depot and Lowe's. I haven't ever spent a night in either of those, but I hear that people do. My suggestion is to go where the other campers are. And for me, I wouldn't even stay there if there weren't other campers. A lot of people don't think to search for city and county campgrounds. Sometimes county campgrounds, you can stay longer than 2 weeks. That's something you can ask about. I haven't ever found free city or county camping, but I hear there is such a thing. So don't forget to search for city and county campgrounds. If I left something out, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for giving the video a like, and I love the comments that you leave. See you next time. Bye.